Have you ever felt your dog chose you for a reason deeper than companionship? What if they're not just your pet, but your soul's guardian? Edgar Cayce knew this, and his prophecy about dogs is unfolding right now. Before we dive deeper into Edgar Cayce's astonishing prophecy, if you've ever felt your dog holds a deeper purpose in your life, please share your story in the comments below. Your experience could help others realize they're not alone. And don't forget to subscribe, because what you're about to learn next could forever change how you see your beloved companion. Edgar Cayce, famously known as the Sleeping Prophet, was no ordinary man. Born in 1877 in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, Cayce's life seemed typical at first glance, but beneath the surface lay an extraordinary gift, one that would make him one of history's most revered psychics. From a young age, Cayce experienced vivid visions, dreams that revealed hidden truths about the world, and a unique ability to foresee events far beyond ordinary perception. He entered deep trance-like states, providing astonishing insights about healing, reincarnation, and even future prophecies. His predictions were documented meticulously, generating a collection of over 14,000 recorded psychic readings still studied closely by scholars and seekers worldwide today. In the early months of 1943, amid the turmoil and uncertainty of World War II, Edgar Cayce provided a particularly remarkable reading. It wasn't about politics, the outcome of wars, or natural disasters. Instead, it spoke quietly yet powerfully about something far closer to our hearts, our relationship with animals. Among these predictions was a profound statement about dogs' companions humanity had long treasured. Cayce revealed, "Dogs are guardians placed by divine design, companions who heal and protect souls. Pause and imagine this for a moment: your dog as more than a faithful pet, but as a being whose very presence has been intentionally arranged by a higher power, a spiritual protector sent specifically to watch over your soul." Cayce believed dogs were not accidental presences in our lives. Instead, he saw them as beings with a clear spiritual purpose, placed strategically into our lives, precisely when we needed them most. As we explore this idea, consider your own dog. Think back to the moment you first met them. Was it purely by chance, or was there a sense of inexplicable connection? To grasp the depth of this prophecy, visualize Edgar Cayce himself in his humble study, reclining quietly, eyes closed, speaking softly yet confidently as his assistant noted down every precious word. Picture the careful handwriting flowing onto paper, recording Cayce's quiet voice as he described the spiritual significance of dogs, offering profound insights decades ahead of his time. His tone was gentle but unwavering, as if delivering an important message he knew future generations would desperately need to. And indeed, as we face modern crises of loneliness, anxiety, and emotional turmoil, Cayce's words ring truer than ever. Dogs have increasingly become recognized for their ability to heal, serving as emotional support animals, companions to veterans overcoming PTSD, and therapy dogs who comfort the ill, elderly, or traumatized. The prophecy is unfolding clearly before our eyes, and Cayce's gentle yet powerful prediction is confirmed daily in countless homes, hospitals, and therapy centers across the globe. As we reflect on this revelation, consider deeply, could Edgar Cayce truly have seen this coming so clearly? Could he genuinely perceive something profound about dogs, an animal we often take for granted? Something that only now, decades later, we fully begin to understand and appreciate. What if our canine companions were placed into our lives not by chance, but by design? fulfilling a silent spiritual mission to guide and guard us, to help our souls heal, grow, and evolve. This incredible vision challenges us to rethink our relationship with these beloved animals, no longer simply pets. Perhaps dogs are powerful spiritual beings, allies who chose to be part of our journey, dedicated to watching over us in ways we may never fully comprehend. And Edgar Cayce's extraordinary prophecy about dogs reminds us sometimes the most profound truths lie hidden in plain sight, quietly breathing beside us. Their eyes filled with an ancient wisdom we're just beginning to discover. I truly want to take a moment to thank you for choosing to stay with me until now. I know your time is precious, and your willingness to explore this extraordinary insight means the world to me. Now, let's continue this incredible journey. According to Edgar Cayce's remarkable prophecy, dogs serve a purpose far beyond ordinary companionship. They're not simply creatures who wait excitedly by the door or sit obediently at our feet. Instead, Cayce reveals they are, in fact, spiritual guardians, beings entrusted with the profound task of watching over our emotional and spiritual well-being. But what does it truly mean to have a spiritual guardian in the form of our beloved dog? Imagine your dog not just comforting you during challenging moments, but actively protecting your spirit from negativity and emotional turmoil. Every gentle nudge of their nose, every warm glance they offer, isn't random behavior, it's intentional, purposeful action, driven by a spiritual instinct to guard your heart and soul. Think back to a day when life felt overwhelmingly difficult. Maybe you experienced deep sadness or anxiety, emotions heavy enough to feel impossible to carry alone. At that exact moment, almost instinctively, your dog quietly moved closer, perhaps rested their head gently on your knee, or calmly lay down beside you without a sound. You might have considered these moments coincidental, but Edgar Cayce's insight suggests something deeper. Your dog sensed your emotional distress long before you did and chose to intervene silently and lovingly. Cayce's prophecy explains that our dogs are attuned to subtle shifts in our emotional and spiritual energies, detecting and responding to negative vibrations and imbalances long before these feelings manifest clearly within ourselves. Moreover, Cayce believed dogs hold a unique ability to neutralize negativity, absorbing emotional disturbances and converting them into peace and tranquility. This transformative presence isn't merely emotional, it's spiritual healing in action. Every gentle paw placed reassuringly on your arm, each affectionate gaze serves as a shield, actively protecting you from spiritual harm, offering comfort precisely when your spirit most needs healing. It's not just emotional support, it's an extraordinary spiritual bond, one that Cayce considered divinely orchestrated. Countless real-world experiences seem to validate Cayce's insights. Soldiers returning home from war carrying the invisible wounds of PTSD find remarkable comfort and healing through canine companionship. Therapy dogs visit hospitals and nursing homes, bringing warmth, relief, and emotional balance to people whose spirits deeply yearn for peace. Cayce's visionary reading decades ago accurately anticipated these discoveries, affirming dogs as spiritual healers whose primary purpose is safeguarding our inner well-being. Your dog, whether quietly lying beside you on a difficult evening or joyfully greeting you after a long day, acts from an ancient wisdom deeply embedded within their being. They sense your spiritual state, understand your emotions beyond words, and respond intuitively, acting as guardians of your very soul. This powerful realization elevates dogs far above mere companionship. It positions them as divine gifts, spiritual allies walking beside us on our journey through life, intentionally placed there to ensure we never feel alone. Cayce saw dogs as living symbols of unconditional love, loyalty, and protection, companions who gently remind us that, no matter how chaotic or challenging life becomes, we are always spiritually supported, always deeply connected, and profoundly loved. Understanding this spiritual role of dogs enriches our relationship with them and allows us to experience a deeper, more fulfilling bond. Your beloved companion isn't merely sharing your home. They're actively protecting your heart, safeguarding your soul, and enhancing your spiritual journey every single day. Edgar Cayce knew this profound truth, and now, through our own experiences, we are finally beginning to understand and appreciate it as well. Now, you might wonder, do we have real-world evidence or stories to support Edgar Cayce's extraordinary prophecy? Well, let me share with you something truly remarkable. Let's start with Michael Henderson, a decorated Marine veteran who returned from his service overseas with invisible yet deeply painful wounds. Michael's journey had become overshadowed by a profound sense of isolation, haunting memories, and a paralyzing anxiety that threatened to take away any hope for a normal life. Doctors labeled his condition as severe PTSD, recommending various treatments, but none seemed to provide lasting relief. Everything changed the day he met Scout, a calm, gentle Labrador retriever trained specifically as an emotional support companion. At their very first meeting, Scout seemed instinctively to understand Michael's struggle. Without hesitation, he gently approached Michael, resting his head softly upon his trembling knee, silently signaling that he was there ready to help carry his burden. Over weeks and months, Scout stayed consistently by Michael's side, calmly responding whenever he sensed his anxiety rising, often long before Michael himself became fully aware of it. Slowly, Scout's unwavering presence began helping Michael regain his peace of mind, reclaim his life, and rediscover the simple joy of feeling safe again. Edgar Cayce's prophecy became vivid and undeniable in these quiet, transformative moments, demonstrating how a dog's companionship is so profoundly spiritual and healing. Another deeply moving story comes from Sarah and her son Danny, a vibrant but deeply introverted 9-year-old struggling intensely with loneliness and social isolation at school. Sarah worried deeply about her son's withdrawn nature, wondering how she could possibly help him navigate through his emotional challenges. Hope arrived unexpectedly in the form of Max, a lively rescue dog adopted from their local shelter. Initially, Max appeared simply playful and energetic, but very quickly, something magical began unfolding. Max bonded immediately and powerfully with Danny, never leaving his side, becoming his silent companion and unwavering protector. Almost instantly, Danny's anxiety eased, his confidence improved, and he started opening up socially and emotionally in ways Sarah had never imagined possible. Max had not simply provided companionship, he actively transformed Danny's emotional world, shielding him from isolation and drawing him back towards joy, friendship, and emotional balance. It seemed impossible to deny that Edgar Cayce had accurately predicted these subtle yet profound healing roles played by dogs in our modern lives. And consider Maria Santos, a hard-working nurse who experienced overwhelming panic attacks triggered by constant stress at her hospital job. After numerous unsuccessful attempts at managing her condition through medication alone, Maria encountered Charlie, a golden retriever puppy that immediately sensed and responded intuitively to her emotional distress. Incredibly, Charlie often sensed Maria's anxiety even before she herself realized it was happening. He would quietly approach her, gently nudging her hand, patiently inviting her to sit with him quietly, allowing her heart rate to stabilize, her breathing to relax, and her panic to gradually subside. Charlie's timely interventions became the lifeline Maria desperately needed. Cayce'S prophecy, once again, seemed undeniably relevant, vividly illustrated through Maria's everyday experiences with Charlie's quiet yet powerful ability to guard and heal her spirit. But beyond these deeply personal, moving narratives, science itself confirms the powerful emotional and spiritual influence dogs have upon our lives. Recent scientific studies have repeatedly shown the measurable physiological and psychological effects of dogs as companions and support animals. Researchers at prestigious universities such as Harvard and Johns Hopkins have demonstrated that interactions with dogs significantly reduce stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve overall cardiovascular health. Scientific experiments repeatedly illustrate that simply petting a dog releases calming hormones such as oxytocin and serotonin, naturally reducing anxiety, tension, and depression in humans. In a groundbreaking study conducted among veterans suffering from severe PTSD, dogs were conclusively shown to dramatically reduce symptoms, providing emotional grounding and significantly improving overall mental health. Clinical psychologists observed remarkable transformations among participants assigned canine therapy companions, noting substantial reductions in anxiety attacks, nightmares, and depression, along with increased emotional resilience and social engagement. Experts today widely recognize this healing phenomenon as a legitimate medical intervention, deeply validating Cayce'S visionary prophecy of dogs as spiritual guardians and healers. Additional research highlights the extraordinary sensitivity dogs possess toward human emotional states. Canine behavioral studies reveal dogs possess an innate ability to read subtle emotional cues from facial expressions to changes in voice pitch and body language. Dogs demonstrate a powerful instinct to comfort humans in emotional distress, suggesting this healing bond is deeply ingrained, biologically rooted, and spiritually significant. Edgar Cayce's prophetic claim that dogs possess a divinely orchestrated role as spiritual healers is supported not only by countless human experiences, but by clear and scientifically validated evidence, repeatedly documented by rigorous scientific observation. But what does this all mean for you? It suggests that your relationship with your dog might be more deeply spiritual, more profoundly meaningful than you previously imagined. Your dog's affectionate gestures and comforting presence are not merely acts of affection. Rather, they constitute powerful acts of healing, acts of spiritual guardianship that Edgar Cayce foresaw with remarkable accuracy. These animals are genuine gifts, intentional, purposeful companions placed by divine design into our lives precisely when we most need them, fulfilling a role of healing, companionship, and spiritual protection that remains deeply mysterious, yet undeniably real. The compelling evidence, scientific, anecdotal, emotional, reinforces Edgar Cayce's astonishing claim that dogs indeed have a spiritual and divine mission in our lives. From easing loneliness, combating anxiety, and healing emotional wounds, dogs truly serve as guardian angels, quietly walking beside us, profoundly reshaping how we experience the world. If we pause and reflect deeply, perhaps we'll recognize that the joyful bark greeting us when we come home, the quiet comfort offered during our most challenging days, is far more intentional and meaningful than we've realized. Perhaps Edgar Cayce was precisely correct when he envisioned a profound and timeless bond existing between humans and dogs, one that goes far beyond companionship, entering the sacred realm of spiritual guardianship, healing, and unconditional love. This realization, once fully understood, forever changes our perspective about dogs, shifting our relationship from mere pet ownership into something profoundly sacred and spiritually significant. Dogs don't simply share our lives, they quietly yet actively transform our spirits, helping us heal and grow spiritually. Edgar Cayce knew this truth almost a century ago, and through science, experience, and heartfelt human stories, we now witness its unfolding reality, recognizing how blessed we truly are to experience such an extraordinary bond. Now, let's move even deeper into the spiritual realm that Edgar Cayce envisioned for our dogs, and what this profound insight truly means for us today. Edgar Cayce didn't merely suggest that dogs have a comforting presence in our lives. Rather, he believed that their role extends far beyond ordinary companionship. According to Cayce, dogs serve as spiritual guides, gently leading us back toward ourselves, helping us reconnect with our deepest truths and innermost peace. In a world increasingly defined by distraction, anxiety, and loneliness, this role is more relevant and essential today than ever before. Consider for a moment the challenges we face as modern humans living in the 21st century. Never before have we felt more connected through technology, yet simultaneously so disconnected emotionally and spiritually. We find ourselves constantly immersed in digital interactions, social media distractions, and endless streams of information, all while quietly craving genuine human connection. The harsh reality of our era is an increasing epidemic of loneliness, anxiety, and depression conditions that statistics reveal are now more common and widespread than at any other time in history. Amidst this growing emotional turmoil, our dogs stand quietly yet powerfully as sources of genuine warmth, connection, and emotional authenticity. They patiently remind us of the essential need we have to slow down, to ground ourselves, and to return to the present moment, a lesson as spiritual as it is practical. But how exactly do dogs accomplish this profound spiritual work? Cayce saw dogs as living symbols of unconditional love and acceptance, qualities humanity desperately longs for, yet struggles to consistently find among ourselves. Dogs never judge or criticize. They accept us exactly as we are. Whether we're successful or struggling, joyful or sad, energetic or weary, dogs offer us unwavering love without condition, providing emotional sanctuary during even our most challenging moments. Through their very presence, they remind us of our inherent worth and lovability, quietly guiding us back to self-compassion, empathy, and emotional healing. Imagine those quiet, calming moments spent sitting beside your dog after a long, stressful day. There's no pressure to perform, no expectation to impress, only peaceful silence and comforting warmth. In these moments, Cayce suggests we don't merely relax, we reconnect with our innermost selves. The emotional and spiritual healing our dogs provide becomes a gateway through which we can rediscover our true purpose, regaining clarity in an often confusing and overwhelming world. Cayce believed this was a crucial part of dogs' divine purpose to help us remember who we truly are and to encourage us gently back toward our authentic spiritual path. Yet this spiritual guidance isn't always obvious or dramatic. Instead, it often manifests subtly through quiet, everyday gestures. It's found in the gentle paw placed reassuringly on your knee, the deep and knowing look into your eyes after a difficult day, or the warm, steady heartbeat that soothes you when your anxieties seem overwhelming. Cayce recognized that dogs communicate on a profoundly spiritual level, intuitively sensing emotional pain, spiritual longing, and the silent struggles within our hearts. And through their unconditional love and acceptance, they guide us toward emotional wholeness and spiritual awakening. In practical terms, what Cayce's message reveals is powerful and clear. Our dogs are here not merely to comfort us, but to spiritually awaken us. They invite us to live more consciously, to slow down and reconnect with the present moment, and to fully appreciate the simple yet deeply meaningful aspects of life we often overlook. Dogs become a kind of spiritual mirror, reflecting back to us the love, kindness, and authenticity we seek, and gently reminding us that these qualities have always resided within us. Understanding and embracing this deeper spiritual bond shifts our perspective significantly, transforming how we view our relationship with dogs. No longer simply companions or pets, dogs become profound spiritual teachers, guides who walk quietly yet intentionally beside us, gently encouraging us to reconnect with our inner selves, rediscover our true purpose, and reclaim a sense of spiritual peace. They inspire us to become better, kinder, and more mindful versions of ourselves, ultimately leading us back to emotional and spiritual harmony. Edgar Cayce's visionary understanding of dogs as spiritual guardians speaks clearly to the very heart of our contemporary struggle, the desperate need for authentic emotional connection and spiritual reconnection. Dogs, in their simplicity and sincerity, help us rediscover the pure joy of presence, the beauty of unconditional acceptance, and the profound comfort of spiritual companionship. Cayce knew this truth intuitively almost a century ago, and today, as we grapple with modern anxieties and emotional isolation, we find his insights more relevant and vital than ever. As you reflect on this powerful spiritual reality, consider your own relationship with your dog. Think deeply about the ways they have quietly guided you, comforted you, and healed your heart. Notice those subtle moments when your dog's silent yet profound wisdom gently guided you toward inner peace, emotional healing, and spiritual clarity. Recognize that the warmth and unconditional acceptance your dog consistently offers isn't merely affection, it's intentional, purposeful spiritual healing in action. Through Cayce's visionary prophecy, we're invited to see our dogs not merely as animals we care for, but as genuine spiritual partners guiding us quietly yet powerfully back to ourselves, toward emotional healing, spiritual awakening, and deep inner peace. In a world increasingly starved for emotional authenticity, perhaps dogs are truly our greatest spiritual teachers, patiently reminding us of the sacred truth that we are never truly alone, always deeply loved, and always profoundly connected. As we come toward the end of this remarkable journey together, I want to leave you with one final heartfelt reflection. Maybe your dog came into your life not just as a companion to keep you company, but to actively help heal and awaken your soul. Edgar Cayce understood this profound truth almost a century ago. Seeing dogs as far more than mere pets, he saw them as spiritual guardians, companions with a divine purpose uniquely tailored to each of us. Now, the question is, do you recognize and feel this deeper, spiritual mission your dog has with you? Pause and really consider this for a moment. Perhaps you can recall a time when your dog comforted you through sadness, offered reassurance during your loneliness, or simply brought a calming presence to your busy, anxious world. In those quiet moments, Was your dog simply offering companionship, or were they fulfilling a profound spiritual role, guiding your spirit gently toward healing, peace, and emotional balance? Cayce'S vision invites us to reflect deeply, urging us to see our dogs not merely as animals sharing our homes, but as spiritual allies, companions who intentionally choose us, committed to helping us find our truest selves. Now, I'd love to invite you to share your own personal experience in the comments below. Have you felt your dog's deeper spiritual purpose in your life? Has your canine companion ever brought you profound healing, comfort, or emotional guidance exactly when you needed it most? Your story truly matters, and by sharing it, you're helping create a supportive and understanding community where experiences like yours help others recognize and appreciate the extraordinary spiritual bond we have with our dogs. If today's message touched your heart or resonated deeply with you, please consider becoming part of our spiritual community. Simply subscribe to the channel for more insightful, transformative content, just like this content designed to awaken, inspire, and reconnect you with the deeper spiritual truths Edgar Cayce foresaw decades ago. Together, let's continue exploring the profound mysteries and sacred bonds that truly enrich our lives. Before you go, always remember this powerful truth. Your dog chose you not randomly, not accidentally, but intentionally, by divine design. Cherish that incredible bond and know that you're never alone on your journey. Your dog walks faithfully beside you, quietly protecting your heart and spirit, guiding you toward healing, growth, and profound inner peace. Edgar Cayce understood this remarkable reality. And now, so do we.